It is time for the second hour, of course, of a Sunday morning here on Robin Hood Radio, and that's when we get to chat at the start of the hour with Willie Hallihan from sportingacause.com, where Willie blogs, but also has a complete list of comprehensive items that are fundraisers, all sports-related, and they are compiled in a great way, and that means from the newest to the ones coming up farther ahead. It's a great compilation of events that are all fundraisers and sports-related, and we always like to go over those and more. Willie, good morning. Thanks for joining us again today.
Good morning, Marshall. A little cool this morning. No frost on the pumpkin yet, but we're getting there.
You know, I try to explain to people when they think that the temperature has to be at freezing for frost, and the temperature really has very little to do with frost. What has to do with frost is dew point. So if you can get a temperature that's in the 30s and your dew point is high, frost. There's a little meteorological lesson for everybody.
Yeah, I learned that. Yeah, I'm almost 70 years old, and I learned that lesson a couple of weeks ago. I too thought that frost was had to be below 32 degrees, and for our Swassa golf tournament, we had a frost delay a couple of weeks ago over at Undermountain, and it was 37, 38 degrees. You know, it was cold, certainly, but frost was forming almost before our eyes. It was an odd thing to see, and that was the first time I realized that a temperature plays a role, but it's not a freezing point; it's a dew point. And learn something every day, Marshall. Hopefully.
All right. Well, let's take a look and learn about some of the upcoming fundraisers.
Okay, and we have some. Today is the last day to run the Sharon Classic 5-mile race, an event that's dear to your heart, Marshall, I know. Yep. It's the last day to run it and turn in your time. All these events that have become virtual have included a way that you can run the race in your own space and time and register for it and turn in your time. It's often done on the honor system. You may get a T-shirt or win a prize, depending on your time, or some sort of commemorative medal or something to show that you ran the race. So today's the last day you can do that. You can certainly make contributions to the cause after that. The Sharon Daycare Center is the beneficiary of the Sharon Classic. Also ending today is the 19th annual Race Around the Lake that benefits Brody Park in New Hartford. And today is the day for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. If any of you are Facebook people, like Marshall, you and I are, you've been seeing the Walk to End Alzheimer's promotion and updates and information for weeks now. Organizers have been very good at getting the word out, and participants as well. And they've all been preparing for this day. It's a virtual event. It was supposed to be run at Lime Rock Park, but very early on they changed it to a virtual event, and it was smart of them to do so. I know some folks are going to walk over at Housatonic today, social distancing, of course, and I hope to get over there and take some pictures, maybe some video of that. Also today is the first of 8 turkey shoots, the famous turkey shoots over at the Northwest Connecticut Rod and Gun Club in Canaan. These are held every Sunday preceding Thanksgiving. They don't shoot at turkeys. It's a target shooting event for shotguns. It's open to the public. It's family friendly. Children are invited to participate if they're accompanied by an adult. You can bring your own shotgun, or the organization has a loaner, so to speak, that you can use if you don't have one of your own. The format's the same every week. Register. You don't register in advance. You just show up at 10 o'clock, register, and the competition starts at 11. And there are 10 rounds. They cost $3 per round, which includes the shell that they give you for your shotgun. And this year there are 8 Sundays preceding Thanksgiving. Usually there's 6. And last year, they got decimated by weather. I know there were several Sundays in a row where it's a rain or shine event, but still the weather was so horrific that they had to cancel. So they lost a lot of fundraising opportunities. So hopefully today's certainly going to be a beautiful day, and Sundays have been great. I think almost every Sunday all year has been a wonderful day. As a golfer, I can attest to that. So hopefully they'll get some good weather, raise some money, make up for their losses in the past, and on we go. annual Friends of Mo golf tournament was supposed to be today. That was canceled. It's always been held at the Egremont Country Club, which is closed, and I think the other reason it closed is it was, as far as golf tournaments goes, this is a massive event. They accept over 40 foursomes, and as a golfer, if you know anything about golfing and tournaments, it's an incredible number. They pack them in. Everybody knows that it's going to be full. It's going to take forever to play, but they don't care. They always raise money for a great cause, which is they find 2 or 3 or 4 families that are really hurting because for health issues, and they can raise like $20,000 at a tournament and split it among those families. But that's been canceled for this year. The Mo in Friends of Mo is for Maureen Snyder, who lost her life to cancer back in the early 2003, I think it was, and a great lady. Her boyfriend has organized the event ever since. And you know, when Marshall, there are a lot of events on my site. Usually, the word memorial is in there, and of course, it means it's organized in the name of somebody who's passed away. And there was something about their life that inspired their loved ones to start an event in their name. I'd say of the over 500 events I have on my website, 50 or 60 of them are memorial events, and it's a way to memorialize someone whose life was worthwhile, certainly, and they found some good to do after they passed away. And the Friends of Mo Golf Tournament was one of those. I want to make a brief mention of some continuing events, Marshall, because I've talked about them in detail in the past. I just don't want to belabor them, but since they're ongoing, they certainly deserve mention. The Berkshire Fall Foliage 5K race series continues through the 25th of October. That was organized to take a basket of 8 5K races that were canceled, giving people the opportunity to run them virtually, one each week for 8 weeks. The Lauren Bardino Memorial 5K Run Walk goes through October 31st. That's another memorial event like I just spoke of. Lauren Bardino lost her life to an overdose, and the race is meant to bring awareness to the opioid crisis. The Little Guild Run and Wag 5K can be still run virtually through October 31st. And today, for the today and the next 3 Sundays, you can watch BMX racing over at the Foothills BMX facility in Torrington. I did a pictorial on Facebook about that. This is an incredible facility in Torrington off of Kennedy Drive. A lot of people around these parts might not even know about it. BMX is bicycle racing on special bikes where you go over dirt track and you go over bumps and corners and hairpin turns and all that. Every week is a fundraiser. The Berkshire Foothills BMX is itself a nonprofit. So they're either racing to raise money for their own upkeep, or there's a handful of causes that they raise money for. The last race of the year, which will be the 25th of October, they're raising money for the McCall Foundation, the McCall Center for Behavioral Health is what its technical name is. And it's always free to go watch. There's no admission charge. It costs only $10 to enter the race. The last time I went there, the only time I've been there, was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and there were over 150 kids who had signed up to race that day, and there are adult classes too. So I don't know what the total number are, but it's hugely popular. I think it's been made more so by the pandemic, ironically. They have different age classes from the little tykes on up to adults, and the 25th is the last race of the season, and that, as I said, that benefits the McCall Center. October 8th through the 11th, the 2020 Eversource Hartford Marathon and Half Marathon also includes a 5K and 10K. That's a big deal in the Hartford area every year. I talk about it because it's big enough that it draws people from our area, so they'd be interested in it. This is being run virtually this year. and they raise a huge amount of money, almost like a professional golf tournament. They raise a massive amount of money, and all the monies that they receive through entries go to local charities. I know Eversource hasn't been a popular organization of late for a couple of reasons, but this is one thing they do very, very right. They raise a lot of money for good causes. Also on October 8th, there is the Tournament for the Orphans at Copiague Country Club. And this is organized by Hearts of the Father. I'll be blogging about this organization. Hearts of the Father is an organization that's just over the line in Sheffield, and it was created out of an incredible tragedy. What they do is they raise money and have started 3 different schools for orphans in East Africa and India and other places. And I'll be blogging about that because it's one of many heartwarming, heartbreaking, and inspiring stories that I've come across over the years of doing what I do. Next Saturday, that's the 10th, the TriState Strong donation drive is going to be going on. This is hosted by the Tri-State Chamber of Commerce. It's also sponsored by Salisbury Bank and Trust, Northwest Connecticut Walk to End Alzheimer's, Lime Rock Park Catering, and the Salisbury Rotary Club. And this is going to be a drive-through event at the Lakeville Methodist Church. And basically, you drive up, open your door or trunk, and let the volunteers there take what you're bringing. They're looking for food items, gift cards, cash, and this is to benefit both the corner food pantry and the Little Guild. And that's it, Marshall. It's a diverse week with a bunch of different kinds of events, and we continue to have a fair amount of activity.
Yep.
Hopefully, through October, things will start to slow down a little bit, but between the shoots and these ongoing virtual events, we'll have plenty to talk about.
And those events that you talk about, like the one raising funds for schools and for in other countries, just remember the dollars that you donate to that probably prevents somebody becoming a terrorist. It really does. I mean, The more we help people who are struggling across the world in different countries, the more future generations will learn to like us and not fear us.
Yeah, and this is something I hope to blog about one of these days soon. Whenever you hear of fundraisers for people in other parts of the world, often the phrase that comes up is, well, we need to take care of our own first, and that's not a wrong notion, but the thing is you can take care of both. I mean, if you see some pictures over the years, horrific pictures of starvation in parts of the world, when you look into the eyes of a starving child, it doesn't matter where they came from.
Bingo. That's it. So that's it. We try to make that apparent when we do fundraisers all the time for people that are raising funds for orphanages and schools and stuff like that. It's just good practice. Spend money on helping people instead of killing people. It really makes a huge difference. Yeah,
the crop walk, for example, is a perfect example of that. World Church is the umbrella, if you will, organization that sponsors the crop walks. We have one here. The 25% of the funds, it's a hunger event, and 25% of the funds go to local food banks, and 75% go throughout the world. I'm sure there are people who say, well, why that? Why 75 elsewhere and 25 here? Well, for that same reason that when you talk about numbers, starving people in the millions, it can be very dehumanizing when you talk about huge numbers of people. But when you narrow it down to an individual and you look at them, eye to eye, again, as I said, it doesn't matter where they are.
There, but for the grace of God, go I.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Willie, have a great week, and we'll check with you next weekend.
Okay, Marshall, you do the same.
Take care. Willie Hallihan, Sporting a Cause, here on Robin Hood Radio, and, of course, on his website, sportingacause.com.